Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for listening. Irma's Greece life and exact actions exemplify how a totalitarian regime can corrupt an individual and normalize horrific cruelty. As a young lower class woman, she was an ordinary person who was indoctrinated into Nazi ideology, and her career trajectory demonstrates the process through which totalitarianism co opts and enables its perpetrators. The process of radicalization and complicity. Indoctrination. Greece's exposure to Nazi indoctrination began as a teenager in the 1930s. The regime controlled education and culture, presenting Nazi ideas about racial purity and German superiority as a patriotic and noble vision. For an impressionable youth with a difficult home life, this propaganda offered a sense of belonging and purpose. Upward mobility. The totalitarian state also offered practical incentives. Joining the SS-supervised concentration camp system provided Greece with a stable, well-paying job with housing, a significant step up from her working-class background. This promise of upward mobility was a powerful motivator for many female guards, including Greece. Dehumanization. Totalitarianism requires the dehumanization of undesirables to justify their persecution. In her role as guard at Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen, Greece absorbed this ideology fully. The propaganda and the regime's legal structures allowed her to see prisoners not as human beings, but as subhuman enemies of the state deserving of abuse and power. Systemic sadism. Greece's actions were not merely a reflection of her personal cruelty, but were facilitated by a system that not only tolerated but rewarded sadism. Camp environment. The camp environment and the power it gave guards like Greece created a culture where extreme violence was the norm. Witnesses at her war crimes trial testified to her extreme cruelty, such as kicking and whipping prisoners and forcing them to endure long, torturous roll calls and brutal weather. Indifference and lack of remorse. At her trial, Greece showed no remorse, suggesting that the totalitarian mindset had completely subsumed any sense of personal responsibility or empathy. She remained loyal to her ideological position until her execution. This indicates how profoundly the totalitarian state has shaped her worldview, making her incapable of recognizing the heinousness of her actions. The larger context of totalitarianism. The story of Irma Greece serves as a stark warning about the broader dangers of totalitarianism. Power of the collective. Her case illustrates how a totalitarian system can override individual morality by emphasizing the collective will over personal conscience, enabling ordinary people. By focusing on Greece as a person rather than a monster, historians can better understand how a relatively ordinary individual can be systemically turned into a perpetrator of genocide by an evil state. State-sanctioned violence. Ultimately, Greece's role was a cog in a vast sanctioned machinery of violence. She was a functionary in a system where brutality was an expression of state power. Thank you for listening. I acquired this information about Irma Greece using artificial intelligence. If you try it yourself, you might get some new information. Sometimes, even when you type in the same thing, sometimes you get different things. So, thank you.